Hello and welcome to the Art of Selling Online Courses, where we share winning strategies and secret hacks from top performers in the online course industry. My name's John Ainsworth, and today's guest is Calvin Coyles. Talk to me about how did you get started in this? How did you first get going?
So for me, John, I started by doing effectively personal development seminars and workshops. I'm a bit of a seminar junkie. I found my passion and calling in that space. I was a 22-year-old aspiring life coach wanting to get started in that world. And I ended up flying and traveling to Bali to work with a guy I'd never met before, live with him and work for free for, at that point, it was meant to be a month, and it was 3 months and 6 months. A guy called Christopher Howard. Chris Howard, if you're familiar with NLP and coaching, was one of the world leaders in that space, equivalent of Tony Robbins, but Tony does personal development. Chris shows you how to use the tools that Tony does so well on stage. So I went and learned from Chris Howard, and I learned a technique or a set of techniques called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And it just blew my mind because I was like, wow, this is really practical and it's really hands-on and it gets people amazing results. Why is this so expensive and takes so much time, energy, and effort for people to do this? And here I am, like a millennial. At that point, I'm 22, 23 years old. I'm thinking if we could take this online, this would be unbelievable, So I come back in 2013, having worked for free for this guy for 6 months. I became his right-hand man, his head of operations globally, helping grow him a multi-million-dollar business again. And then I come back and start my first company. And we were doing live events. I wasn't doing a lot of stuff online at that point. Most of it was live events, in-person trainings, leveraging my background and experience. And then after a while, what we did was we then filmed those training programs and then turned them into online course curriculums, effectively online NLP training libraries. Proud to say we have the #1 selling online NLP coaching program in the world of its kind. And we launched that very first time. We launched that back in 2014, end of 2014. And that just went absolutely berserk, just ridiculous. I remember, this is a funny experience, we were talking about Kim Barrage before. So Kim at that time was working for me. He now runs his own company. And we're in Bali running a retreat, and we launched this online course. It's the first online course I've ever launched before. 2014, I'm in Bali, and we did a free NLP program, just paid for certification for $99. And we're lying around going, how much you reckon we can make from this? Maybe we'll get 10 or 20 enrollments in a week. And I thought, wow, if we could make $2,000 US in a week online with no sales calls, no speaking to anybody, just purely from that funnel, that would pay for the whole trip that we're here in Bali. You can live like a king in Bali. And we turned it on, and this is no joke, although I feel like I could be an internet marketer with this story. We then go and end up we had booked a massage, right, for that time. We go and get a massage. We got all of our clients getting massages. We come back, and in the time that we'd had a massage, I think it cost us maybe like $300 to have everyone massaged. And we'd made something like $3,000 in that hour from when we turned the funnel on. And I think we ended up doing something like 26 sales in our first day. So we did $2,600 in our first day. And for me, doing events and seminars and workshops around the world, knowing how much time and money that costs, this was just out of this freaking world. And so that was my sort of first foray into online trainings. We've grown since then. We now have clients around the world. We make some good money and we changed some lives. But that was how it all kicked off for me, which was just a crazy experience, a crazy story where you learn the value of funnels and online trainings.
And how did you feel with that? Were you like just delighted, or did it freak you out when that happened?
A bit of everything, right? Because at that point, we had kept everything pretty small in the sense that I was in Perth, Western Australia. So it's the most isolated capital city on the planet. We were running events and trainings at that point. Like I think Bali was my first overseas training that I'd run. So there I am doing some stuff in Perth and Melbourne, but we're quite small. No one really knew who Calvin Coyles was back then. And to be fair, most people still don't know now in the grand scale of things, but we've got obviously a market that we're known by. And so for me, I knew how much work went into trying to make somebody buy in a seminar environment. So for me, the idea of just running an ad and people seeing it and buying it and giving me money online without any of that work, I almost sold myself on that it wasn't possible because of how hard I was working. So you try to justify the hard work rather than the smart work. So that freaked me out a bit. But also as well, it's such an elating experience to, one, people around the world now are going to get to see and consume stuff. But two, we're now making money literally while I was getting a massage. So if we can just do that every day, then you're like, well, shit, the whole world's your oyster. and you don't have to work as hard, and you can do all this extra stuff. And of course, you're not just making sales, but now you're acquiring customers and clients that I can then get to come and do all my other stuff. It was such a breakthrough experience for me. You know, in our work, we talk about, in order for you to go to the next level, whatever that looks like, you've got to have an I can do this moment. And for me, one of those was about a year or so later, but earlier than that, my first ever major event on my own. I had 40 people in the room, and I remember 20 people bought a program for me, $1,500 live from stage. Kim was one of the guys at that event, actually, and I made $30,000 in a Saturday. My best ever sales day was $586,000 in one day. And next weekend, we've got a big event. We'll probably break that again. But that's amazing. We've done $1 million in a month before. That was amazing. But the 30,000 on a Saturday, that was the breakthrough moment for me, because I was like, now I know I can do this. And equally so, lying around that villa in Bali and doing $2,600 in online sales in one day, even though we'd done $100,000 sales days before, that one day online without speaking to anybody was a huge moment for me.